Flomishkarman, Flomastay, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sumet Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state specialist, which means that I help you feel your best and perform your best. Today we're talking all about ego death, okay, one of my favorite topics to speak about. If you are not into esoteric content, then this page probably isn't for you. Okay, I love to mix high performance with esotericism. I think it's the greatest combination that we know, and I've spoken about this to a lot of people. Some think I'm a genius, some think I'm crazy, some think I'm in between. I would just say that, just start exploring these topics, okay? Don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out. Have a little bit of skepticism, listen to what I say with a grain of salt, and then come to your own conclusions. Read the disclaimer. Let's get started. Understand that the self and the ego are sometimes overlapped and used interchangeably, but understand that the ego is a construct, the self is. You see, the self remains constant throughout ego deaths. The self is actually archetypical in nature, which means it's a substructure. So this is what the ego actually collapses into. So it collapses and rebuilds, collapses and rebuilds. This is really the process of transformation. This is how transformation happens. This is how alchemy happens. You break something down, you dissolve it down, right? You dissolve the ego down, and then you involve it again in such a way that it starts to change your perspective, change your paradigm. So the first thing you want to overcome is a fear of ego death. I think that's very, very important. Okay, a lot of people experience this through entheogens or psychedelics. Others may even experience this through something like a breakup, right? Because a breakup is a breaking up of your ego. That's exactly what the breakup means, okay? It's a breaking up of your ego because your identity has been transfixed with this other person, okay? It's been entangled into this other person's storyline. So you have to now take your power back in this relationship. You are relating with each other now, you're not in relation, you see? So you have to find yourself again. You find yourself by coming back to your awareness. This is why you see a lot of people changing their appearance after a breakup. They get a haircut, change their hair color, they maybe get a tattoo, they start to buy new clothing. Why do they do this? Because they want to recreate and rebuild their identity or their ego after that ego death experience. Near-death experience also creates ego death experience because it's like you're actually losing the physical body. So risky situations, dangerous situations does have this frightening effect on you where you feel like you're going to die. A lot of our greatest fears comes from this feeling of I'm going to die. Okay, that's one of our most primal fears. But understand this, and this I learned also from a lot of my guides, so thank you, Jai Gurudev, to all of my spirit guides in the astral, okay, in the multiverse. How many of them there are? Probably countless, probably infinite, okay? But the ones that I'm aware of right now are the 7 chakra deities that I work with, some of the transpersonal and subpersonal chakras, okay? So once you rise in your consciousness level, so this is what tends to happen, okay? I hope I don't get copyright infringed for this music in the background, by the way. It's celebration time, man. It's almost Independence Day, okay? August 15th is coming up, so, this is how we do. This is how we do it. So as you rise in consciousness, you get a sense of these collective identities, okay? You have a lot of identities. You have a collective identity. You will slowly start to rise in your consciousness, therefore rising in your awareness, therefore remembering these things, okay? Some people remember or recall past lives. I have a video on past lives that I recently posted. Go and check that out. Ego is always in preservation mode, and it seems like it's always looking and checking if there are imminent threats around you, okay? So after a very ego death experience, you might actually be more in your ego, right? You might experience ego activation moments. Like you might die, so it's warning you, right? The ego does not want to die, okay? So it sends warning signals. Bro, I'm about to die again, okay? I don't know about that, okay? And it's gonna try to attach to the physical world, right? it's going to try to attach to everything. But my cars, but this, but that, okay? Just like when Andrew Tate had his cars taken away, right? His Bugattis. How many Bugattis do you have? And then, you know, the universe bitch slapped him and then took away his Bugattis. And it's like, whoa. Now it's like he has to live without Bugattis. He has to recreate his imagery, right? In his mind. You remember that scene in The Matrix where Morpheus is saying, what is real? And he says, what is real is simply electrical signals in your brain, okay, telling you it's real. This is actually revealing to you that this world is a hologram, right? This world is Maya. It's a playground. It is an ascension echo chamber. It is a literal ascension school, okay, where you learn all things, okay? You have the ability to learn all things, okay? It's quite overwhelming for a lot of people, right? You're like, but there's more to know? What do you mean? Ego and you, the concept of you, the self, and ego, I, is interwoven. It's like when you just look at the waves of the ocean, just passing you by, you don't attach meaning or emotion to your thinking. You just kind of observe your thoughts, okay, and allow them to pass. That's when you can take power over that awareness, that self, right, that starts to really nurture and nestle the ego, right? Very nice. Notice that a lot of spiritual people that you've met in your life are very, very unstable, okay? They can't fucking handle money. They're completely scattered. They are, you know, just kind of going from one thing to the next, trying to figure it out. Where does this instability come from? It comes from a lack of grounding. I keep saying this, okay? You got to start with that primal essence, that energy of you connecting to the earth, not distancing and separating yourself from the earth. We live in cubicles. We live in the 21st century a lot of times, man. We're boxed in. We're not around nature, so we can't get those nature codes or those activations. Nature actually has a lot of codes, okay? Now, I'm not saying go be a pagan witch, okay? But what I am saying is allow yourself, I mean, you can go be a pagan witch if you want to, girl, you know what I'm saying? But that's on you, okay? Don't say you heard it from this channel, like, to go and, you know, of course, I might have a bias towards this because I think fae are incredibly attractive, fae being the fairy people, okay? And the fairy grunge and that aesthetic, okay? How do you beat 99% of spiritual people? You have certainty. I know what to say. I know where to go. I know what to do. You're at a high vibration, but at the same time, you're maintaining a solid frame of reality. You're seeing the world in a very specific way. That's what I mean by frame, okay? Frame is just the way that you perceive the world. It's your point of view. It's your locus of control. And once you start doing this, you'll start to notice it becomes second nature to you. It becomes much more natural to ask, let's say, an attractive woman to hang out with you. Then you start leading. But at first few times when you start doing this stuff, it feels clunky, right? It feels clunky, it feels rusty, it feels like you're shaking it off. And that's like the warm-ups, okay, in the video game. Those are the flow state warm-ups, right? That's the preconditions that you need for you to actually tap in more into this, because you need that sense of agitation to give you those horse blinders in order for you to actually keep going and crushing it, and maybe maintaining kind of like a more of a social momentum if that's what you're wanting to create as well. Think about the way that these gangs, right? And I say gangs because it's I like to study different things, different characters, you know, and so forth. But if you ever look at gangs, okay, you understand that they have a very unique initiation and recruitment process where they break the person. What I mean by that, they make them go through some form of a hazing or a ritual or initiation. They do this with fraternities too, guys, right? But the whole point is that ego death. That's the whole reason why gangs have that, so that they can merge into that new identity. Either they get beat up, or they have to like have sex with a prostitute, or they have to like get their, you know, finger chopped off like a little bit, according to the Yakuza, right? By the way, guys, I once had a female coach who used to be ex-Yakuza member. I don't know if you guys know that, but you learn more about me every day, right, as you watch these videos. But these interactions, you've got to get, if you're a man watching and listening to this, okay, you've got to understand that there's a very specific kind of communication from a man to a woman, especially if it's in a romantic or a sensual, sexual relationship, right, that's about to form, an intimate connection that's about to form. And you start off in this friendship realm, and the friendship starts becoming more and more passionate, start generating this chemistry, and you do this by maintaining your own polarity. You start working on your masculinity. You start working on holding that frame of your reality, being congruent, because incongruence is the number one thing that leads to rejection. Incongruence and you leaving the frame. You just drop the frame. Why are you nervous and stuttering and, having all of these symptoms? You've dropped the frame. You've simply not adjusted to that new reality, that new belief system. You're still stuck with the old belief system, aka the old BS. And you want to go back and forth with this thing, right? We have this concept in social dynamics called push-pull, right? Push-pull is this fun, playful banter of pressure on, pressure off. So you're adding pressure or you're relieving pressure at the same time. So maybe you mentioned something slightly suggestive or sexual. It's like you've warmed it up, now you need to cool it up. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like a icy cold, icy hot, right, vibe. So usually like a very genuine compliment, the more genuine you can make your compliments, like it's really coming from deep within the recesses of your subconscious or something, right? Like those kinds of compliments. But just comes out so pure and so innocent. You get what I mean? Like someone who doesn't need anything from another person, but they're appreciating that. It's like, have you ever had somebody appreciating your art if you're an artist? And you feel recognized, you feel like revered almost in a sense, right? You start glowing, you become a little bit more noble, that this person is actually seeing the world like I'm seeing it through my vision, through my experimentation and my expression, which is my art. That's a great compliment to receive when you're actually coming across as genuine and not someone who just needs or takes something from somebody. So I'll make comments like, you're so open-minded. Wow, you really said it. You're an expressive one, aren't you? I like that, I'll actually affirm to people that this is what I want more of. Like, please continue, okay? And the stuff you don't want more of, you gotta call it out. You gotta call out the boundaries, okay? Now, maybe some people aren't good at doing this. So you gotta practice being carefree, but at the same time, remaining very, very present as you set the boundary. Because you don't want to be distracted as you're setting a boundary, because even you might miss out on a step, okay? You got to be focused in when setting a boundary. It's light and playful still, but you're more now on a mode, okay? You're like, Now she's become the master, okay? She's become the more dominant one. Maybe she's teasing you more. She's picked up the pace of the conversation. She's trying to teach you something, okay? She's trying to engineer the interaction so she can gain the power back. And this is, again, it becomes like a power dynamic at times. You'll notice in relationships, like one person trying to battle one other person's ego. And that's when clashes happen, arguments happen, shadows interact with each other and hidden parts of you interact with each other and so forth. But you gotta have this vibe like, who the fuck are you? Of course, be culturally, calibrated, okay? Don't say this in a place where swearing is looked down upon or something like that, but it's kind of like that. That's the vibe, You're kind of smirking, you're in your own reality. And you're saying through your verbals, your subcommunication, through your body language, through your everything, you're communicating. My frame is stronger than yours, okay? Because if you start stuttering, you might lose your frame. If she starts stuttering, she's actually within your frame. So she will still be with you in that sense, okay? Also understand that people become mirrors, okay? So if you're a man, you gotta understand that the woman is a mirror to you. If you're a woman listening to this, understand the man is a mirror to you. So the mirror feeds back whatever you give it, okay? If you understand what I just said there, this is very, very next level psychology. Like, this is like breaking it down to a very, very next level. It seems like a very simple statement, but for the people who got it, they're going, oh man, this is next level, right? Well, you're gonna enjoy our pathworking. It's called Primal Sutra. We have an Adepts program, which is for my more advanced students, okay? So if you wanna skip along all of this journey, the hard work of learning all of this and taking a really long time, years and years, if you wanna skip all that, years of spiritual, toil and hardship, because I've gone through that, right? I already have been through the journey, so I can guide you a lot smoother. You'll be more efficient with it in a sense. because we're trying to look at efficiency with peak performance shamanism. Okay, we're making things a lot more smoother, swifter. Okay, what if in fighting you can make your kick swifter? By the way, guys, I'm noticing that I'm flinching a lot when I'm sparring. This was my first time actually sparring with my trainer, and I noticed myself just clamping up and stressing out, and I think I realized why in the moment, which was very powerful of a realization. It was an ego death. I was afraid I was going to get punched, and eventually I was going to die. That is the biggest fear. My brain is already accustomed to a people pleaser mentality of avoidance rather than fight mode. And so I've learned throughout my life to be in defense rather than offense. So the adjustment that I'm making right now is offense. Be offensive. Okay? Be on the offense. Don't be a dick to people, right? That's not what I mean. Be on the offense. It's go time. Okay, you're the shot caller. You're the one making it happen. Let's go. You don't need any routines. The routines are just there to steer your direction of the conversation. Okay? That's it. It's just the steering wheel. I would say one big mistake that a lot of men make is when they see a woman and they have these sexual feelings come up, they repress it immediately. Okay? They push it down. They don't allow themselves to actually, use that energy to communicate with. Semen retention really helps with this, by the way. Okay, if you can get on semen retention at least a very long streak, you will notice that your ability to hold frame is just much more natural. Why? Because you're on your shit. You're not on that dopamine splurge anymore, right? You're not like in that instant gratification zone anymore. You're able to bask in the afterglow of your masculine energy. You're able to like feel like that sweat in the sun kind of feeling, right, as a man. You guys know what I'm saying. Like maybe women even activate these masculine testosterone like in their body too, and they know what I'm talking about. But it's this very specific type of feeling, right? Where your solar plexus is just like emanating with power, right? And you're holding your posture up a lot more straight. You know what I realized? Your knees have to be lower than your hips when you're sitting down on a chair, okay? That's how you correct the posture. Okay, right now I'm on a weird half deflated bouncy ball just to practice a little bit of my mobility stuff, but I'll notice that this kind of visualization where I'm actually envisioning being with this other person in a R-rated way, okay, helps me to immediately shuts off my fear. So my sexual visualization and me actually enjoying and having pleasure, the pleasure receptors of the brain, the dopamine, helps me to push through that fear mode where I'm like clamping up or I feel like I don't know what to say you see? So I use the sexual visualization. You'll notice a lot of the times it really helps for you to actually be horny. Horniness is contagious. Okay? It is. You might have noticed this. I don't know if you notice it primarily, but if you have a fun, sexual, lighthearted, dominant vibe, other people are gonna feel that around you in the environment, right? And it's just contagious. Sometimes women will like squirm like this, right? Men will get uncomfortable or they start to challenge you, right? They'll start picking at you or they'll start just like amogging. Amogging is just like alpha male of the group. So it's like when a guy acts really chummy with you, like puts a hand over your, like, oh, buddy, all right. It's like the gym guy trying to help you out alpha you or whatever. It's like when the boundaries between you and the external world break, then other people become an extension of you, because you can actually you're a walking collective and you don't even know that. Okay, you're not even aware that you're a walking collective. You have a tribe. You have a hive mind of your tribe in your head. Okay, giving you instructions. So be careful who you hang around with, my friends. You have weak, pathetic ass friends, and I'm gonna be honest with some of you. You do, and they're keeping you stuck, and you can't help it. You just wanna be a nice dude to them. You got to know how to immediately put yourself into that sexual state as soon as you see a girl, okay? It's like that's the sacral chakra activation stuff that we're gonna be doing in the islands of Costa Rica as well, because that's really important for us to really gain that, very metaphysical connection as well. The spiritual and energy work really speeds up your process. Like zooms, it's like, okay? You see like growth in like maybe 10 years time, you've seen like 5 months. 3 months, like that. Okay, you'll be like, whoa, okay. And all it took was a restructuring of what? The mind. You just need to restructure a few things around, make the ego make more sense, create a process for you to collapse the ego and restructure it so that you can transform into your best self, best self, best self. And as you grow into your higher self, you raise in your consciousness and you become more and more and more aware of the deities that are there in your pantheon, you know, your tribe members, okay, your council, okay, as Napoleon Hill calls it his council. So you will figure out your counsel as you start to raise in your consciousness. How do you raise in your consciousness? You deal with the gunk, the emotional gunk that is preventing that consciousness to rise. And it's through the emotions or states, okay, that you have to rise through, okay? You can find out more if you choose to work with me one-on-one. And again, I don't choose to work with just about anybody. You know, some people will just do sessions with me, a one-off thing. They just need help in that moment. They've been through something, so they come and see me, and then I fix their issue like maybe in a week, and then they don't come back anymore, right? And I don't actually create it like, I'm not like deceptive in that way where I'm like, I give you like one piece of the puzzle, and then I make you wait for like, you know, a decade of working together, and then finally reveal the second keystone. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, just live your life. You see, I'm like nature. Is the water worried about, is he giving too much, or is he like protecting himself too little? Or, you know, he's not overthinking at all. The water's just being. It's just flowing and being and expressing without judgment, with total precision, clarity, lucidity, right? Transparency. Like, that is that essence of that water, okay? You gotta accumulate. That's that maintenance. That's that preservation. That's that invisible process of your digestion working for you and your body protecting you as you sleep, and just these little, you know, glimpses of protection and survival that you get throughout your time of living, where you understand that, hey, my pain from this part of my body went down, okay? My body's listening to me, my body's healing. This is very important, actually, as a reminder for your ego death. Integration after an ego death experience is very key. Setting is also very key, okay? Because that can activate your flow state or take it away from your flow state, okay? Speaking about that more later in another video, though. I hope you guys are doing epic. Shoot me a message if you want to work with me one-on-one. Costa Rica tickets, get them online. Unfortunately, it's too late for you to join in person. As a YouTube dad, okay? YouTube dad, I say, I'm not a real life dad. I worry about some of you, man. I'm disappointed in some of you too. It's like, you guys are off the face of the map, you know? I'm out here posting every day on YouTube, and y'all are hiding. Where are you at? Come out of your cave, okay? It's been a decade. Come out of your cave, start sharing, start expressing. You have all of this value, this untold nature, these truths, these activations, these channeled messages, that if you can actually allow yourself to let go of all the preconceptions and judgments, shit will flow out of your mouth and it will be gold. And people will listen. Straight up. Okay? Hit that like and subscribe button. May we never be the same again. Us. Speak soon, Jedis. We're all gonna make it.